Building the uprights on the XRAY X4 is another chapter which has a lot of news and updates which you're going to find important and interesting. So let's look at the uprights on the XRAY X4. These parts are completely new. It's a completely redesigned part. So the kit comes with graphite plastic uprights. They are the same front and rear, but the aluminum plates which are included are different front and rear. So the front plates are a bit longer for the front steering, and the rear plates are a bit shorter because they're for the active rear suspension, the ARS, which is now built into the car as standard. And I'm going to explain a little bit about the option parts that we offer here. So for example, we offer the hubs, the uprights, also in aluminum material. They look like this, black aluminum. And the benefit of having these in aluminum is that they're stiffer, they're more rigid, so they provide better cornering speed for high grip conditions where there's a lot of load on the suspension. And of course they look great, but also the performance is increased for certain conditions. So those are the optional uprights which we recommend for competition racing. And also we offer the front steering arms in the +1 version, which means that this point here has been moved a bit outwards, so you'll have longer steering links. And this increases the Ackerman effect a little bit, but it also makes the steering more precise. So this can be a good option for high grip conditions as well, to make the car a bit more precise to drive and more predictable. So the +1 millimeter steering arms are recommended for high grip conditions. And then of course the wheel hubs, the hexes, they are completely redesigned as well. They look like this. And I'm going to show you how to build everything in a minute, but first I'm going to explain that we have optional wheel hubs as well, which they look like this. They are the -0.5 millimeter hexes, which they make the car narrower, and that can help to generate more grip and more steering for low grip conditions. So let's get on with the build of these uprights. What we're going to do first is we're going to take our drive shaft that we just built in the previous video. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to start with the rear, so the CVD drive shafts. And we're going to take some clips here. We're going to need these little E-clips, which are very nicely designed. And then we have these steel shims. These steel shims here, they are made for being installed in between the bearings in the hubs. And why is that? That's because we want to remove some play. So now we're going to install a shim in between these two bearings. Let's throw it in there, and finally the other bearing as well. And then we're going to take the hex, the wheel hub. We're going to put it in here. Make sure that it's moving freely. Actually, what you can do at this stage is you can install some Hoodie bearing oil into the bearings to make sure that they are properly lubricated and to prolong their life. Put that aside, and then we install the wheel hub, drive shaft, so here what you need to do is you need to look for the flat spot. The flat spot of the drive axle, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but there's a little flat spot here. It needs to be pointing upwards towards the opening of the hex. And why is that? That's because you're then able to install and remove the little E-clip onto the flat spot. So push this in here. We're going to use a Hoodie long nose pliers to push this in place. See, there it goes, very easily. And then we're gonna push this whole assembly back and forth to make sure that we got free movement. There should not be excessive play, but there should be free movement, and this should spin freely inside of the hub. Okay, so that's built. Then what do we do if we want to remove this? We take a small flathead screwdriver, we push it into the little slot between the flat spot on the drive axle and the E-clip. And we push the E-clip out like that. It comes out, and it's very easy to install and remove. All you need is long nose pliers. And a small flathead screwdriver. Both are offered from Hoodie. Okay, so that's the rear. That means that we're gonna use the shorter aluminum extension plate for the rear, because that's for the ARS rear suspension. Put it on here. It's a little tight fit. And then we're gonna install the small 4mm steel screws. They look like this in the outer hole of the rear upright assembly. And that's the upright fully built. That's the rear upright. You have to repeat this process for the front, obviously, but the only difference is that you'll use the front drive shaft and the long aluminum steering plate. I also need to mention that we offer these plates also in steel material. And the steel material will make them obviously more durable, so they're less likely to bend or tweak in a crash. So if you're worried about the durability, we also offer these plates in steel material. Okay, so that's the rear upright build. And we can move on with the build.